One.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are fine today. I, Muslim Bhagwan, today will take your history chapter of Standard 7, chapter number 3. So let's begin. The name of a chapter is Religious Synthesis. Okay, so who will tell me what is religious synthesis? Oh, if you don't know, don't worry. I'll explain you. Religious synthesis means blending of two or more religious belief system into a new system. Means when there are two or more religious, we are blending up, we are merging up, and we are making one religion. Understood? So that is religious synthesis. Understood? So we'll start. Diversity of languages and religions is an important characteristic of Indian society. What is diversity, children? Diversity is nothing but it's a range of different things. Means different things, different places are these examples. So diversity means a vast range of different things. Considering these features, the Constitution has adopted the principle of secularism. Constitutions means the rules which we have to follow. And what is secularism? Secularism is nothing but it's a form of religious institution. It's nothing but it's a form of religious institutions. In medieval India, to attempts to bring about religious synthesis in social life were made on the basis of their principles. Among these efforts, the Bhakti movement, Sikhism and Sufi sects are significant places. See, in these everything efforts, only Bhakti movement, Sikhism and Sufis. Bhakti movement means the one who prays to their God, to their devotees. Sikhism means the one who follow Guru Nanak. Means we say the Punjabis, the Sindhis, they are called as Sikhism. And Sufis means the Muslims. Okay, understood? Well, these different streams of thought arose in different parts of India. See, in every different parts of country, we have different religion, different languages. They emphasize harmony between the different sects and religion along the devotion of God. We shall study in this chapter. Means they have just believed on their God. Understood? So what are the more things we'll study right now in this chapter. Till now I have just taken a basic theme about this chapter. Now we'll start a chapter. Initially, rituals and brahmanans were greatly emphasized in Indian religious life. Initially, there are the ritual beliefs. What are the beliefs? Any beliefs might be. They think that if the cat goes from this area, we don't have to cross that lane. We have to go from the other part. These are the rituals. I've given you some example right now. Okay? So please mind it. In the medieval period, they gave many bhakti marg, the path of devotion. Devotion means we have another word for devotion is a meditation. Meditation. Who does yoga? That kind of we called it as devotion. Bhakti marg did not give undue importance to the heritage which further facilitated religious synthesis. In the different religion of India, we find different form of path of devotion. According to the local situation, the Bhakti movement used the common people language instead of Sanskrit. Bhakti movement means we are using the common language, the native language where we stay, that kind of language we are using, we call it as Bhakti movement. They help the development of religious languages. What they help? They help us for the development of their regional languages. What are the religious languages? What are the regional languages? That kind of. So now we'll study the first point, that is Bhakti movement. Okay? What is Bhakti movement? Okay, don't worry, I'll tell you. It is believed that Bhakti movement originated in South India. South India means below Maharashtra, Karnataka, that kind. Okay, the Nayanar and Alvar Bhakti movement emerged in this religion. See, as I have told you, religious synthesis. So the both the Nayanas and the Alvas, the both have merged for the Bhakti movement. Okay, the Nayanas were devotees of Shiva, where the Alavas was devotees of Vishnu. See, the Hindu believe on two gods, the Shiva as well as Vishnu. Okay, so they believe on both of it, but they have the different name, Nayar and Alavar. Okay, they were also attempt to consider Shiva and Vishnu as one of the same and bring them together. See, we have a Shiva and we have Vishnu. They have brought together and they form a one single religion. Harihar idols were depreciated, half Vishnu and half Shiva were produced in this period on a large scale. In that period, there were half Vishnu and half Shiva. Okay? And that on that period they have were on a very large scale. People belonging to all satras have participated in this bhakti movement. They preach value to the love of God, humanity, compassion, mercy, etc. See, this is called as bhakti movement. This. So you can see the God is standing over here and the people are making the devotees and mercies over here. Fine? Have you got it what is bhakti movement? Well enough. Ramanuj and other acharyas strengthened the basis of the bhakti movement in South India. They told people that God is for all. What he told? That God is for everyone. He is for all the caste, all the creeds and everyone. They told people that God is for all. God does not discriminate. The teaching of Ramanuj has a great impact in the North India also. North India means upon Maharashtra, that kind of area. Okay. Now, Sant Ramanand strengthened the Bhakti movement in India. Sant Kabir is well-known saint in the Bhakti movement. See, this is Sant Kabir. He did not attach any importance places of pilgrimage, vartas or idol worship. For him, truth was God. The Sant Kabir belief was that he will speak truth and that is only the God for him. He thought that all human beings are equal. What he thought? That all the human beings are equal. He did not believe in any different based on caste, creed, sect and religion. Means he does not believe anything that he is of this caste, he is of this caste. All the caste and creeds are same for him. He wanted to bring about Hindu and Muslim unity. Sant Kabir's tendency was to bring Hindu as well as Muslim, bring together and form a unity, form a strength. He criticized the extremely orthodox people in the both Hindu and Muslim religions in strong terms. Anywhere, everywhere we have the beliefs that some of them teases Hindu, some of them teases Muslim, but his tendency was to bring Hindu and Muslim together. And those who doesn't want to bring them together, he take strong action against them. In Bengal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu underlined the importance of Krishna Bhakti. Who? Can anyone tell me who? It's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What he told? He told the importance of what? Of Krishna Bhakti. Very good. Due to his teaching, people joined the Bhakti movement in translating the boundaries of caste and creeds. Under his influence, Sankaradeva spread the Bhakti movement in Assam. Who have spread in Assam? What is spread? What is spread? He spread Bhakti movement. Who spread it? Shankar Deva. What he did? He spread Bhakti movement where? In Assam. Narsi Mehta was renowned Vaishnava saint in Gujarat. He was ardent devotee to Krishna. He gave the message of equality. He is known as the first poet of Gujarati language. A very important note, children, mind it. He is the first poet in Gujarati language. He wrote the poem first of all. He is the first person to write poem in his native Gujarati language. And what's his name? His name was Vaishnava Sant. And where he stays in Gujarat. Sant Mirabai stressed the importance of devotion of Krishna. She belonged to the royal family of Mewar. Where is it Mewar located? Mewar is located in Rajasthan. And she was from a very high class family, very rich family. But she devotion came to Krishna and she just devoted to Lord Krishna. She belonged to the royal family of Mewar. She renounced all the pleasures of royal family and immersed herself in devotion to Krishna. She composed devotional verses in Rajasthani and Gujarati. She composed some devotional songs for God in which language? In Rajasthani language as well as Gujarati language. Her devotion verses gave the message of devotion. What were her messages for? Her message was just for the devotion, just for her emotions against the God. What she feels for the God. Tolerance and humanity. Sant Sena was an influence saint. Sant Rohidas was a great saint. Who? Sant Rohidas. He gave the message of equality and humanity. Surdas, a great poet in Hindi literature, composed a poetical work. What he composed? A poetical work. What is it? It's Sur Sagar. What is it? It's Sur Sagar. Devotion to Krishna. Krishna Bhakti. We'll call it, that word is as Krishna Bhakti. Which word? Devotion to Krishna. In the subject of his work, the verses on Krishna Bhakti composed by the Muslims Santra, Rakshan and Melodious. Ramcharitra Mansa of Sant Tulsidas is a beautiful composition expressing devotion to Rama. See, Sant Tulsidas. What he had? He composed some devotional songs. To whom? To Rama. To Lord Ram. In Karnataka, Bashveshwar spread the Lingayat stream of thought. See, this is Shri Bashveshwar. And where he used to stay? He used to stay in Karnataka. He opposed the caste system and spread the dignity of labor. Kaya Kavi Kalyas is his well-known saying, which means work in Kailash. What his mentality is? If we'll work, if we'll hard work, and our work is just a workshop, and our work is as Kailash. We are working for everyone. We are working for ourselves. He encouraged women participation in his movement. He always used to encourage women. Okay, yes, you can do it. You can fight it. You can do anything you want. He just encouraged women. Why? Because at that time, women doesn't have the rights as they have today. Men and women belonging to all the castes began to participate in the religious discussion conducted in the hall of Anubhava Mantapa. What they have to do, all the men as well as the women, they gather together and they discuss about their things. Shri Bashveshwar conveyed his teaching in the language of the people. What he did, he conveyed the language. Means what he did, he taught them in their native language. And what is it? It's in Karnataka. Kannada language. Sorry, it's in Kannada language. Kannada, though the medium of Vachana literature, his work has a great impact on society. His work was a very great impact, a very large impact where on society. His followers have composed their works in Marathi also. See, and he have his follower in Karnataka, but some of them were having in Maharashtra also. So they have converted his language into Maharashtrian language and they composed some of it. Paramashaya, composed by Manmata Swami, is a very well-known great saint in Karnataka, including Pan, Purandasara and other. They composed many devotional verses in Kannada. They have composed many other languages in their native language, and that is in Kannada. Now we'll study about Mahanubhav Pant. What is it? We'll study. In the 13th century, Chandradhar Swami founded the Mahanubhav Pant. See, this is Chandrakar Swami. This is Chandrakar Swami. This is the person who formed Mahanubhav Pant. He is the founder of Mahanubhav Pant. In which century? In 13th century. This sect preaches devotion to Krishna. Shri Govind Prabhu was a guru of Chakradhar Swami. The followers of Chakradhar, including men and women, belong to all the castes and creeds. See, even this sentence is saying the same thing, that all the women and men are belong to all of any caste or on any creed used to come together at one place. He supposed equality. He travelled to all the parts of Maharashtra preaching in Marathi. He preferred Marathi instead of Sanskrit. What he used to do when he came in Maharashtra, the people is knowing only their native language. Okay, Sanskrit they were knowing, but they were also knowing Marathi language. So he composed his thoughts in Marathi language also. He preferred Marathi instead of Sanskrit. This led to the development of the Marathi language. Many works were composed in Marathi as well as Sanskrit as well as Marathi. Now the new language is composed, that is Marathi on that period. The sect mainly spread in the Vidarbha and Marathwada region of Maharashtra. Riddhipur in Vidarbha is an important place or places of the sect. The sect have preached on faraway region like Punjab and Afghanistan. See, his messages where it spreaded in Punjab as well as in Afghanistan. Okay. Now we'll study about Guru Nanak. What is Guru Nanak? See, this person is Guru Nanak. He is a founder of Sikhism. He is the founder of Sikhism, and he is the first guru of Sikh. Understood? Guru Nanak was the founder of Sikhism, and he was the first guru of Sikhs. Sikhs means the Punjabis, the Sindhis. Okay. His Sikh, if you don't know who is Sikh, who ties turban, that kind of person is called it as Sikh. He follows Sikhism. He followed Guru Nanak. His work has to be mentioned as a great impact at religious synthesis. He visited the holy places of both Hindus and Muslims. Guru Nanak used to visit on all the places of Hindus as well as Muslims. He had also visited Makkah. Okay, it's in Saudi Arabia. Okay, he's the first person, a Muslim, to go in Makkah. He realized that the feeling of devotion is common everyone. What he realized, that every person of every caste, of every country, he has the same feelings in his heart. He thought that all the persons should be treated equally. What he thought, that all the persons have equal rights. Not about the rich person, not about a poor person. Everyone have the same thing. All are equal. He thought that all the persons should be treated equally. His preaching aimed at achieving Hinduism, Muslim unity. He emphasized chaste behavior. See, his belief was to bring Hindus as well as Muslims together and form unity. Many people influenced by the teaching of Guru Nanak, the number of his followers increased day by day. On that period, when he came and when he visited anyone's places, he used to gather the followers. He used to collect his followers. Whenever he speaks, okay, whenever he speaks, at that time he used to increase his followers. He have a power of teaching also. The followers of Guru Nanak are known as Sikhs. Means disciplines. What is it? What is the meaning of Sikhs? Means discipline. The Adhyay Grantha are also known as the Guru Granth Sahib. What is known as Guru Granth Sahib? Means it's a holy book of Sikhs. The Adhyay Grantha, including composed by Guru Nanak, Sant Namdev, Sant Kabir, and other Sant Guru Nanak, were succeeded by the 9 Gurus of Sikhs. Guru Gobind Singh was the 10th Guru of the Sikhs. See, they were having 9 Gurus, okay, like Sant Kabir, Sant Namdev, Sant Guru Nanak, and the 9th Guru was, the 10th Guru was Sant Guru Gobind Singh of his Sikh. After Guru Gobind Singh, Sikh regarded the Guru Granth Sahib as their Guru as per the order of Guru Gobind Singh. They have realized that they have the orders as per the rules of as per the order of Guru Gobind Singh. They followed that thing. Now we'll find the Sufi sect. Sufi sect means is a sect of Islam. This is a sect in Islam. The Sufi sect believe that God is full of love and the only way to reach Him is through life, love of devotions. Sufis means who sing the song for their God, for their Allah, for Almighty Allah. For that kind of devotion, for that kind of love, we call it as the Sufi sect. Their main teaching are love for all living beings, meditation and simple living. Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. You know Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. Have you seen on all the cars? You have seen in the cars on their mirror. They have written KGN, means Khwaja Garib Nawaz. Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti means they have their dargahs. Where is it? It's located in Ajmer Sharif. It's in Rajasthan. It's located in Ajmer Sharif. Many of them have visited, I think so. Sheikh Nizamuddin Awliya were great Sufi saint. The teaching of Sufi saints leads to the unity in the Hindus and Muslim communities. If we'll go in that dargah, you will see we have Muslims as well as Hindus. Both are there together in front of them. Means their belief was everyone's are equal. We are just divided by religion, but all the human beings are equal. Sufi music has made valuable contribution to Indian music. Have you seen? Everyone hears Indian music, but Sufi's music have played an important role. Have you seen that song Afghan Jalebi? Okay, Afghan Jalebi, that kind of song, Afghan Jalebi, that kind of song, we call it as Sufi song. Even the A.R. Rahman, Allah Rakha Rahman, he sings Sufi songs. You have seen Jodha Akbar, he sang that Sufi song. Which song? Khwaja Mere Khwaja, that kind of song. Okay? The path of bhakti taught by the saint is to follow for the common people. The bhakti movement was open for all the man and woman. See, this bhakti movement is open for everyone, even for other caste or other creeds, even for the man, even for the woman. Everyone, it's open for everyone. The saints expressed their thoughts in the language of people. The common people found the close of their heart. The Bhakti movement has contributed greatly to the making of Indian culture. See, this Bhakti movement played an important role in this country. Which country? In this India, in this Indian culture. This Bhakti movement played an important role. So student, we have finished this chapter. Have you understood? If you have any difficulty, please let me know. Thank you.